Okay, bueno mi gente, Calix Boxing here. This is going to be a quick video on Gervonta Davis missing weight today and getting stripped of that IBF junior lightweight belt. Um, this is a issue for this guy. If you don't remember, just a couple months ago, he needed 3 attempts to make weight for his first title defense against Liam Walsh, um, and made it on the third attempt, barely made it. And he didn't even weigh in with the other undercard fighters for this weigh-in. People wondering why, and this is why. He missed weight by a whole 2 pounds. I mean, if you miss weight by a whole 2 pounds, I mean that's brutal. That's brutal. You just can't make the weight anymore. And they didn't even attempt to reweigh, from what I understand. So it's not a good look for Gervonta Davis. And like I said, his second title defense, and he had problems with weight both times. So my man, it's time to exit to 135. Time to move up. So um, to me, the dialogue with Davis has to change a little bit, because it was okay at 130. This guy, he's a talented fighter. He can overwhelm guys at 130 at that weight. But when you start moving up to 135 or 140, guys at that weight are just a different size. So you can't just overwhelm guys with size like you do at 130 at 22 years old. Moving up in weight, you got Mikey Garcia at 135. So that would be a tough fight for him. And it's an interesting dynamic with the Mayweather gym. And I talked about this with Battle Jack, because Battle Jack's a guy who's been impressive, super impressive. And what's interesting about that is Jack is a guy who had the least amount of hype and fanfare going into the Mayweather gym. You saw guys like Mickey Bay, Jalen Love, and now Gervonta Davis get so much hype going into the Mayweather gym. And you saw what happened with Mickey Bay. You saw what happened with Jalen Love. And they just had a lot of problems. And Mayweather has had issues with discipline in his gym, which is weird, because Mayweather is such a disciplined and professional fighter. The only problem I ever saw him had was with the weight before the Marquez fight. Other than that, he's a guy who's always made weight, always been disciplined in his training, always been disciplined when he's fighting. You saw when Zab Judah went crazy in the 11th round, and he just stayed in the corner and stayed disciplined. And not saying he doesn't have disciplined fighters inside the ring, but he has had issues with guys getting popped for drug testing, guys missing weight. Jalen Love's been a guy who's missed weight. Gervonta Davis now a guy whose second straight fight had issues with weight. And there's a certain point where your body just can't handle cutting weight that soon to fights anymore that much. There's weights you just can't make anymore. And you saw with Mikey Garcia. I think that was at 126 or 130. I don't remember which one, when Mikey Garcia just couldn't make the weight. He was throwing up. They tried to put him in a sauna. He was throwing up. He just couldn't do it anymore. He literally could not lose any more weight. And maybe that's where Gervonta Davis was at. But when you're 2 pounds over, that's a serious miscalculation. And I know people are saying, oh, just 2 pounds. That's just 2 pounds for us isn't a big deal. You know, you might weigh 200 tonight and then weigh 197 in the morning. But for a fighter, you calculate that weight down to a T. You have it down to a science. And, you know, guys might miss weight by 0.2 pounds or 0.4 pounds and then jump in the sauna real quick or run on a treadmill real quick and come back 15 minutes later. Or take a dump and come 15 minutes later and make weight. But when you see a guy miss weight by 2 pounds and not even try to reweigh, that's a serious issue, not only with your weight, but in your discipline and calculating your weight. You got to be able to have a team around you and yourself to be able to calculate your weight leading up to a fight, calculate your weight before you even sign for the next fight. If you had that much problems making weight for Liam Walsh, maybe you shouldn't have tried 130 again. So I fully expect them to, you know, not even go back for a belt at 130 and vacate 130 and go up to 135 at this point. But it's an issue when you lose your. It's never a good thing when you lose your belt, but it's never a good thing when you lose your belt, especially on the scale before the fight even happens. You can't even fight for your belt. You pay sanctioning fees, and you can't even fight for your belt. You probably have to pay Francisco Fonseca now some more money for missing weight. Hopefully, he had that in his contract for Davis to pay a penalty for having a 2 pound weight advantage and not having to cut that weight late. And now he's going to come in and not be dehydrated. And this poor guy Fonseca, who barely anybody knows, had to cut that weight, and he's going to have to rehydrate faster to try to catch up with Gervonta Davis for tomorrow night. So just a tough spot for him, but I'm sure he got paid handsomely for Gervonta Davis's mistake here. So I don't know. Red flags for Davis. Red flags really all over the place right now. He's a talented fighter, but when you see him miss weight or have trouble with weight 2 straight fights, and then when people are asking him about Lomachenko and he keeps saying that Lomachenko is not going to do anything for my career, I don't really want to fight Lomachenko right now, that's another red flag. And I understand you want to take it easy. You want to stay away from Lomachenko. You sized him up, and you don't know what you don't like what you're seeing right now. But not what you want to hear from supposedly a young lion in Gervonta Davis. So let's see where he goes from here. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for a little while, give him a little bit of leeway, but not a good look professional-wise and discipline-wise when you're having trouble with weight this early in your career 2 straight times. So hit me up. Let me know what y'all think about Davis missing weight and losing that IBF belt on the scale. I'm out. Peace.